Welcome, everyone. This is Craig Horsley of the Hidden Cabaret. We're located on 707 8th Avenue, and today we have Wes Hyler. He's the artistic director of NYMF, the New York Musical Festival. And he's having a very interesting event this coming December 2nd. And welcome, Wes.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So tell me about NYMF in general. I know I've been a patron for at least 12 years,
Yeah.
so let me hear what you have to say.
Well, the New York Musical Festival is the largest musical theater festival in the world. We're in our 17th year, and over that time, we've had literally dozens and dozens of shows go on to further productions. We present 30 musicals every year. 4 of them have gone on to Broadway. Over 100 of them have gone on to commercial off-Broadway and regional nonprofit off-Broadway. And then there's also regional productions, and some have even been made into feature-length films. Not to mention that artists from the festival, actors, directors, designers, stage managers, and of course writers, have also gone on to become the people that really influence the musical theater today. You mentioned we had a benefit concert just 1 week ago where we honored Stephen Schwartz, who is famous for writing Wicked and Pippin and Godspell and Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Disney film Pocahontas, and he had a show in the festival the first year. We also honored Kelly Devine, who is a choreographer. She choreographed Come From Away, that she won the Olivier Award for. She choreographed Rock of Ages, and she's a choreographer on Diana coming in. And she directed and choreographed 2 New York Musical Festival shows. There were so many stars there that had used the festival as a launch pad. Alex Timbers, who has 2 shows right now, Beetlejuice and Moulin Rouge on Broadway. He spoke there. He had a show that he directed in the festival earlier on in his career, as well as dozens of actors. So it's a launch pad for shows, and it's also a launch pad for musical theater artists.
I mean, I've seen some of the shows, and I know that Next to Normal started there, title of show, Chaplin, which was on Broadway, and then a musical called Stuck, which was made into a feature film.
Yes.
So you definitely have supported some wonderful artists and projects that have gone on to further things. Now, on December 2nd, I mean, I've been to many of the full-length performances, the readings in the past, and the galas, but December 2nd is very different from everything else, and I don't think any other theater festival does something like this. Tell us what you're doing December 2nd.
On December 2nd, we're doing How the Light Gets In. One thing that's really exciting about the New York Musical Festival is that most of the shows we do, we present. Artists come in and producers come in, and we are a festival, like a film festival, that presents these shows, but we didn't produce them. However, there's a couple events that we do produce, and How the Light Gets In is one of those. So with support from the ASCAP Foundation and the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment, we commissioned 3 songwriter or songwriting teams to write new musicals based on a prompt. It's co-curated with me and Arpita Mukherjee, and we found 3 amazing teams and gave them this prompt that they created these 30-minute musicals, and we'll be presenting them on December 2nd at 7 p.m. at the Hidden Cabaret. So it'll be a 90-minute concert, 3 new pieces, great actors, great music.
Now, did you? They're very diverse topics.
Yes.
Did you give them the topics, or did you just say, "Give me something that's socially relevant," and they ran with it?
Well, the prompt was, borders aren't natural. A river flows through mountains and valleys. A desert leads to plains and then wild forest. A bird flies across the same sky between nations, continents. Borders are man-made, and whether a chain link fence or a wall, they must be imagined and built by humans. So then, what is citizenship? Can we belong to one nation? And what is national identity? And what is the meaning of global citizenship? So that's what we gave the 3 teams. And then they imagined this very differently. 2 of them come out of sort of real world events. One of the pieces is set in China in Tiananmen Square, and it's 2 time periods between the architects who built this sculpture in Tiananmen Square and then the protest later on, the hunger strike in Tiananmen Square with 2 college students underneath that. The other piece is in Berlin when the Berlin Wall was raised. And I didn't know this, but the Berlin Wall actually went up overnight. So one day it wasn't there, and the next day all 90 miles of
Right.
it existed. And it's about a family who gets torn apart that night. One of them's in the east, and it's a father and his daughter's in West Berlin, and he gets separated from her and
Right.
can't get back to her. It's a beautiful piece. And then the third piece doesn't take place in reality. It sort of imagines a future in which global warming and climate change has raised the sea level. And so the North American continent is now a series of islands. And each island has only a few individuals on it, and they can only communicate through email or phone call. So there's no direct person-to-person communication. And what does that mean about humanity if we're only communicating each other through electronic devices?
Unfortunately, we don't need global
Yes,
climate change
it's
for
true.
that to be happening nowadays. But all three are very relevant, especially in today's news with tariffs with China, talks of Russia, and also the whole global climate change issues that are happening.
Yes.
And you've got some. How did you find these people? Did you find the people, or did you find the shows first?
No, this is something where we didn't know the show. So all these shows are completely original. We commissioned these writers, and they wrote the pieces. This will be the first time that they're ever heard. We found the writers, when this was the prompt, I knew we wanted to really deal with people that would understand international issues and citizenship in a more global way. So the first team is Chiang Ing and Kathy Ing, and Chiang was born in Singapore. I knew that they would understand this. John Sood wrote the sort of post-apocalyptic one. John is third-generation Indian American. And the third team is Alexander Weil and Eloise Govdare. And they were born in Uzbekistan and came over. So understand that sort of Soviet, post-Soviet world, very much in their bones. So I knew all three of these writing teams, in addition to doing amazing work. I've known about them. They all have relationships with the festival. That this would be a topic and a prompt that they could really fly with.
I mean, I was looking at the bios of these composers and writers, and one of them had done music on television, had done soundtracks on television, and a film. He worked with the B-52s. Another one has a group, a rock group from Seattle, and then I know I have seen Eastbound, which was from the first group that you were talking about.
Right.
So they've already have some wonderful credentials behind them. And so I'm really excited about what you're going to be doing on the December 2nd.
I was in the rehearsal earlier today, the first rehearsal, and it really is so inspiring to see this work. I mean, you're right. These musicians are top-notch. They're incredibly talented. They're expertly proficient, and the work they're creating is truly masterful. And I was so inspired by it in this program and what it can offer. And I was telling Scott Pine, the executive director, and he says, "Oh, you were nymph-spired." And I said, "Yes, I was nymph-spired."
I mean, it's going to be a wonderful night. And also, you're going to have the festival again this year, which will be in, what month did you usually do it in?
Usually July and August.
Okay, yeah. Which I've been going to. I must have seen. If you've done a few hundred, I've done at least 200 shows. Seen at least 200 shows there. So everyone over there, thank you so much, Wes, for joining us. And I'm hoping that you all will join us on December 2nd. The show is at 7 p.m. It's at 707 8th Avenue. We're the Hidden Cabaret. We're in the secret room. That's why we're hidden. And you can get tickets or on hiddencabaret.com. And also look at NYMF's website.
Right, www.nymf.org.
And Hidden Cabaret, www.hiddencabaret.com. Not only to get tickets for this show, but also look at all of our programming. We're programmed almost all the way through March at this point. So we're welcoming you on December 2nd. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Come for dinner beforehand. Have some drinks. Get socially aware,
Yes.
and a little bit of tipsy also while you're there. So thank you all so much for watching, and see you on December 2nd.